The online safety bill was placed in the order paper of the parliament as of yesterday. There is 14 days time period for any concerned citizen or group of people to challenge this before the Supreme Court. Now, if one looks at how this online safety bill has come about, it can be traced back to 2000, mid 2020, when the then Justice Minister presented a proposal to establish an authority, a competent authority, to prevent the spread of misinformation and online falsehoods. Now, this bill is completely based on a law that is in existence in Singapore. As all of us know, Singapore is not the greatest of democracies. Although it is a very well-developed country, it does not have the same level of luxuries that we have in terms of democracy, especially in view of the freedom of speech. So basically, we have borrowed an idea from Singapore, which I say is very draconian. So many years ago, Time magazine published something that is unfavorable to Singapore, and Singapore prevented the importation of the Time magazine, that particular magazine. So we are talking of a country like that. And now we are trying to take a law from that country and say that Sri Lanka also should implement that. So although this bill is termed as online safety, there's nothing safe about it. It's an extremely unsafe bill that has been proposed, and it attempts to take away liberty as we all know. It will take away everything that we hold and cherish as a free-spirited individual. Essentially, it has the effect of taking away our freedom of thought and conscience. And as we all know, our freedom of thought and conscience is something that no government can take away from any of us. If we look at the bill proposes to create something called the Online Safety Commission. Now, who appoints these so-called commissioners? His Excellency the President. There is absolutely no oversight when it comes to these appointments. So the President can decide whoever he wants will become these commissioners. And then these commissioners in turn will decide what is the truth in this country is. Truth no longer will be a fact. Truth will be what this Online Safety Commission says what it's supposed to be. So for example, I had this client once. He said that the enforced burial of COVID-19 victims is wrong and it is based on false science. He was arrested for it on the basis that he was spreading misinformation. Several months later, the government changed its policy and said, oh yes, we will allow cremation. We will not enforce cremation, we will allow burials also. Then months later, the government said that, oh, we made a mistake. In fact, the professor concerned, Professor Malavige, went on record saying her opinion at the time was wrong. Now take this as an example. We have a citizen of this country who was arrested, who is now enlarged in bail. His mobile phones have been taken away, and with the government analyst, his privacy taken away. Somebody at the government analyst department is now going through his messages. He is being prosecuted by the government for saying this. Why? Because the government at the time thought that this is a fake news or fake information. Later on, it turned out that what he said was true. So in such a situation, in such situations, how do we say what is true? What is true to me might be completely different from my colleague's view of the truth. And that is our opinion. There's this famous example, one might see number 6 while the other person on the other side might see number 9. So in such a situation, who is this online commission, safety commission, to tell us that this is the only version of the truth? So I think here lies the whole problem. We are being told that our online rights, our right to association online, our right to assembly online, our right to express online has to be curtailed according to what this online commission is going to decide as the truth. And if we don't comply with it, our accounts can be taken away. We can be charged in a court, we can be punished, and the law is not clear as to how we can challenge these things. For example, if the online commission says that something is not true and therefore must be taken down, the law is silent as to how we can challenge it. So I think there are serious problems in this draft bill. It has completely disregarded the rights of the citizen, which are guaranteed by the Fundamental Rights chapter in our country. It's very important that we realize this, and it has this chilling effect, because now we will worry before we publish anything, thinking that if the online safety commission says that this, our statement is misinformation, we will get prosecuted. So I might not as well share this information. Or somebody decides to go and put a like to it. And if the online commission decides that somebody should be harassed, just because we have liked that comment, they might try to say that this is promoting, espousing, or in some form aiding and abetting. Therefore, these people who click on like will also get caught up in this law and charged in court. This is not a fanciful fear that I'm saying. This is exactly what happens in Myanmar. If you put a like to something that the government says you shouldn't, you can get charged. So these are the dangers. I think it's important that we understand these dangers and we oppose it. We have only a limited amount of time to oppose, because if we lose this window and it becomes law, then it is law forever. We don't have post-enactment judicial review of legislation, and which means that this will stay on forever and the people will get punished. Just like my colleague Prabodha said, the ICCPR is being misused. We have seen how the Offensive Weapons Act has been misused. We see how the Dangerous Drugs and Poisons and Opiums Act is being misused. So we know how it is like. We know what it is going to be. And it is important in these circumstances that we oppose this particular bill. With regard to the anti-terrorism bill that has been proposed, it was not tabled in Parliament, although it has been placed in the order paper. So one wonders why. One of the glaring defects when this bill was originally introduced in last June was that there was no proper definition of terrorism. Even if you protest on a road, you could be called a terrorist. That deficiency is still there in this new bill. So when the Justice Minister last June said that he is not going to table this bill because of these deficiencies, we all believed that that was true and that he would hold on to his end of the bargain. But it seems like the Justice Minister has decided to present, with minor changes, the same bad law. So I think it is important, I'm not going to go into detail, but it is very important that we realize that both these bills are extremely draconian. They will take away all rights that we have. We will be living in constant fear that our actions will result with charges being framed against us and us being punished unfairly. So in these situations, I think it's important that as citizens, everyone takes on their role to exercise their rights and protest against these bills from becoming law. We can not only just go and file action challenging it in the Supreme Court, we can all talk to our representatives. We are supposed to live in a representative democracy. So it's important that we talk to our representatives and we say, don't make these things law. This is going to be a problem to the people. So I think that's very important. Our rights as citizens of this country are not limited to the time when we exercise franchise. We still have the right to go and speak to our members of parliament and tell them, this is bad, don't make it into law. So as citizens, I think I urge everyone to oppose these two bills because of these reasons. Thank you.